Breaking news coming at you guys. Unfortunately for the Golden State Warriors, center and number 2 overall pick James Wiseman has torn his meniscus per the report from Shams. And the fear that goes along with the rest of this is that Wiseman is going to miss the rest of the NBA season. That is a brutal injury for Golden State. Now, this is not that uncommon. The Warriors have not officially announced this by any means, but the report from Shams that it's a torn meniscus. Woj says that there's an expectation that Wiseman might miss the rest of the year. They're still working through that plan. It's still a little bit early from that perspective, but with where Golden State's at in the season, at least as relates to the rest of the regular season, it does seem very possible, if not outright likely, that Wiseman is not going to be able to return to the Golden State Warriors this season. And that's a brutal turn of events for a player who has at least shown promise. Again, the second overall pick, 11.5 points per game, over almost 6 boards, He's gone through quite a bit of adversity. You remember earlier this year, Wiseman had missed 11 games with a wrist injury. So his season, assuming he is unable to return, which at this point I think is very, very likely, is going to be limited to just 39 games this year. It's a brutal turn of events for Golden State and for Wiseman, who certainly did need as many, opportunities, reps, and minutes as he possibly could have had. So in the comments section, I want you guys to give me your one-word reaction to the James Wiseman injury. One word, I think brutal is the one I've used earlier. Pain could just be a simple one-word reaction there. Unfortunate, there's a lot of different routes that you can go there as it relates to James Wiseman injury. But assuming he's out for the year, that certainly puts a damper on Golden State's playoff hopes as well. Now, part of the reason why this is so difficult for Golden State is it's not like they had a bunch of great big men anyway. Kevon Looney is going to take over, I think, as like the starting quote-unquote center with James Wiseman, but he's not been the type of player that Golden State was hoping for. You'll see plenty of Draymond Green small ball 5, as we've seen for quite a while now. Eric Pascal, Smilojic, those guys can play. Pascal's been a nice bench option, putting up a pretty impressive 9.5 points per game. But none of these guys truly offers the length and rim running and protection and athleticism and upside that James Wiseman was offering the Golden State Warriors. So, again, the report, for those of you not fully paying attention here, the fear is that James Wiseman is going to miss the rest of the NBA season after suffering a torn meniscus. Now, that comes from Shams. Woj says the Warriors are still consulting, and there might be a path in which he does not miss the rest of the season. I think that's fairly unlikely. It's a brutal update for Golden State, as Wiseman appears set to miss the rest of this year. Folks, Chat Sports is now on the News Break app. Download it today and support the show in the process by using our link, chatsports.com/newsbreak. Go download it today. You got local news, politics, sports content, weather, everything you could possibly want on the News Break app. That's chatsports.com/newsbreak. Go download the app today. You can stay updated in terms of everything going on around your local community. That way, you don't miss out on stuff that happens. That's important. It helps you stay smart, and you support the show as well. Go download the app today, chatsports.com/newsbreak. Let's chat Golden State Warriors here on Chat Sports. The Bradley Beal trade rumors, they simply will not ever go away. The Athletic latest threw out this idea. What about Golden State trading for Bradley Beal in the offseason? Now, this, of course, will be part of an all-in push within the windows of the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green trio for Golden State. And it's understandable that, hey, we would love to get Bradley Beal because, he's Bradley friggin' Beal, and he's awesome. And even though he's been a bit banged up as of late, he's putting up almost 31 points per game, a rather good 34.3% shooting given how often he shoots three-pointers. It's a pretty good efficiency for the volume that he's had this season. He's been one of the best players in the NBA this year, still leads the association in scoring. So it is perfectly understandable to go, if you're a Golden State fan, of like, oh man, I'd love to get Bradley Beal. Yeah, there's an overlap of guard there between Beal, Thompson, and Curry, but they're all great. So maybe just figure that one out later and then go from there. The problem for Golden State becomes the cost of this. Here was the trade package put together by The Athletic. Bradley Beal, of course, goes to Golden State. The Wizards get Andrew Wiggins, a 2021 first-round pick, and James Wiseman. Now, it is worth mentioning that, that first-round pick comes from the Minnesota Timberwolves, top 3 protected, but incredibly valuable. And also, James Wiseman just tore his meniscus, so that might hurt his trade value. Maybe Golden State, or maybe the Wizards don't want that anymore. It's all very complicated. But get your votes in for me here quickly. Would you do this trade in general? Y for yes, or type in N for no. Now, The Athletic actually mentioned 3 names as part of their article of hypothetical trade targets. Bradley Beal, Myles Turner, and Steven Adams. We've talked plenty about Bradley Beal. We know how great he is, how good he is, how perfect he'd be in the Steve Kerr offense. Turner and Adams are fairly interesting, even before the injury from James Wiseman. Not sure how they all fit together, because even if Wiseman misses this year, he's going to be back next year. It's a torn meniscus. It's not like his knee's gone forever, Turner's a great player. One of my favorite guys in the NBA, offers immense defensive ability. How do you pair Myles Turner and James Wiseman together? I don't think you want those two on the court at the same time. And even if Turner can stretch it a little bit, going to pay him $20 million and have your number 2 overall pick be a backup? That doesn't really make much sense for Golden State, but I like the player that Myles Turner is. What makes even less sense to me is bringing in Steven Adams. Sure, maybe you want to upgrade over Kevon Looney. I get that. That's perfectly reasonable and understandable from my perspective. Throwing big-time money at him? I don't know about that one. Why are you going to pay a 20, almost $17 million per year is what Adams going to make the rest of his contract? Be a backup big? Nah, that's not a good use for a team that is already paying a lot of money. Let's look now at where things stand in the Western Conference, the playoff race here, if you will. The Jazz are number 1. The Suns are 2. Imagine telling somebody that before the year began. They'd call you crazy. The Clippers are 3. The Denver Nuggets are 4. And the Lakers check in there at number 5. They're a half game back from the 4 seed and also ahead of the 6 seed. Blazers 6, Mavs 7, Grizzlies 8, Spurs 9, Warriors 10. Now, we'll stick on this here because it's important. The playoffs is different this year for the NBA. I would argue more fun. Remember, 7, 8, 9, 10 go through this type of little fun tournament, so getting 10 gives you a chance. The Mavs would have to then play the Grizzlies. As things stand right now, winner of that game is the 7 seed. The loser of that game gets the winner of the 9-10 game, with the winner of that then matchup in the kind of bracket style thing here, getting the 8 seed. So Golden State is still alive. They're a half game back of that number 9 seed, 1.5 games clear of the 11-seeded New Orleans Pelicans, with the Sacramento Kings then checking in with the number 12 seed right now. The Thunder 13, the Rockets 14, and the lowly Minnesota Timberwolves bringing up the rear at number 15.